Well, it was certainly a speech that reflected, often we think it's reflected and stage managed more than substantive, but unity, anonymity around this conference. But we also know that there were many tensions. There were even tensions that delayed the start of the opening session today. But that is in a context that meetings like this, such as National General Council a year and a half ago, and such as national elective conferences, also help in organization building. So I think for the ANC itself, it was very good to have this kind of a meeting. They certainly had a chance to brainstorm. They had chances to see also the divisions and the opposite views in the organization. And with that in mind, it is a very important instrument in induction into the movement, into socialization into the movement, to conduct these meetings, policy meeting, National General Council, and so on. Through the speech, I thought it was a pretty strong speech, but I also detected a few tensions that ran through that speech. And that is in a context that, of course, we as analysts, observers, journalists haven't just looked at this speech. We have also sat through a range of media briefings in the course of the week. We have also spoken to various delegates that very often tell us very different stories and very interesting insights into what is actually happening behind the scenes. And some of the tensions I pick up there is President proclaiming there was no campaigning. There was a lot of campaigning here. Even if the campaigning that did happen, and that is for Mangaung top positions, didn't find resonance, so as much resonance as had originally been expected in this document on the second transition that later became the second phase of the transition. It may sound like a nominal semantic change in the title there, but it actually reflects some substantive changes, how people understand, members understand the theoretical foundations of the movement. What is interesting, I think very important for the ANC, is that it was precisely this debate that pushed them into reflection on the fact that they continue defining themselves as a revolutionary movement. And that, obviously, is something that makes you reconsider, yes, concerted action, more dedicated action. We must do more and faster than what we've been doing so far. Quite a few people that I've talked to in the course of the last few days, and also just before the closing session now, were saying that they sense that this ANC is feeling movement on the ground. They were feeling people are considering them more critically and considering them as a governing party of some 18 years and not just as a liberation movement. President Zuma, in his speech too, we saw it on various occasions, he loves bringing in, of course, the apartheid, colonialism struggle, oppressive system against ANC and many other South Africans have fought, and to bring that into the present, that is a very important way for the ANC to regenerate its own power. But we know there are limits to that, and some feedback that I got also from delegates was really that ANC is feeling the ground moving in some way, and that is really what motivates them, saying they must do more.
Okay. Just quickly, now, do you think that, considering the events that have happened in the past couple of days, the ANC has emerged a stronger party in terms of what it stands for, and how do you think this, whatever method that the party came out as, would the impact that it would have towards going into Mangaung?
You know, I think the ANC did manage to come out somewhat stronger, but it also has to manage exactly these contradictions. A meeting like this, also from the content, where they really emphasize organizational renewal and strengthening, cadre development, plans for the next 10 years, to gradually induct new members into the ANC, not just to take new members unreservedly, to screen them, let them go through trial periods. That could definitely, if it's implemented properly, help strengthen the ANC organizationally. ANC to be really stronger after this, and and the run-up to Mangaung and post-Mangaung needs to take account of the promises, the outreach it makes to ordinary South Africans and into its supporters, more broadly than just members outside of society. And there, whether you loved using the term radical, we look at the policies that are really not that radical. So it could also be that this ANC is creating more expectations than what it can really live up to. We see a lot of emphasis on implementation. We see very few details, apart from a few references to corruption, appropriate cadre deployment, on how the state is going to get that extra capacity. It is a concept that's too globally passed over. And that means if we move past the ANC just organizationally right at this stage, ANC as governing party could still encounter the same old problems and might have to come back in Mangaung National General Council in a few years' time and give the same kind of undertakings. Each time around it will be with a bit less credibility.